When solving quadratic equations, the goal is to isolate the variable. This can be done with inverse operations. If you have addition with the variable, you'll use subtraction to isolate it. If you have subtraction with the variable, you'll use addition to isolate it. Let's solve the quadratic equation. X squared minus 13 equals negative 12. Because we subtracted 13 in the equation, we'll add 13 to each side of the equation to isolate the variable. When we simplify, the new equation becomes x squared equals 1. We'll take the square root of each side. Always remember the plus or minus sign when you take the square root, because both negative and positive values would be possible solutions. The solutions are x equals plus or minus 1. Now let's try an example where a constant is squared with the variable x. First, take the square root of both sides of the equation to get rid of the square power. The equation becomes x minus 6 equals 0. Next, use inverse operations to isolate the variable and add 6 to both sides. There is one solution, x equals 6. Here's a tricky one for you. Let's solve the quadratic equation x squared plus 9 equals 0. The first thing to do is isolate the variable by subtracting 9 from both sides. Then we'll need to take the square root of each side. What do you notice? There is a square root of a negative number, which cannot result in a real number. This means that there are no real solutions. What do you think will happen when we try to solve x squared equals 18? The constant is already alone on one side, so we can take the square root of both sides of the equation. You end up with x equals the square root of 18, but the square root of 18 can be simplified further. Think about what number that is a perfect square can go into 18. 18 can be broken into the square root of 9 times the square root of 2, and 9 is a perfect square. So, take the square root of 9, which is plus or minus 3, and bring it outside of the square root. The square root of 18 becomes plus or minus 3 times the square root of 2. So the solutions are x equals plus or minus 3 times square root of 2.